Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope everything in your world is fantastic. Everything here is pretty good. Today is Monday, and it was the last Monday that I'll work at my current employer. This is the beginning of my final week, and sad. It's a little sad, honestly. I'm sad to be leaving. I'm excited about new opportunities, and yeah. I didn't want to walk away, you know. I thought I was going to be there until they took my key card and slammed the door in my face, but it is what it is. But I don't know if you can tell. You can see some of my workbench, and this thing beside me is clean. I cleaned this week. I cleaned. The shop is completely functional again. And I did that because I wanted to work on the project. And I worked on the project, and I actually finished the project. Now, I know I've been really dodgy and like not telling you what this thing is, but let me show you what I've got here. Ta-da! It's a box with some switches. Isn't that fancy? This little box with switches, 2 switches, contains the microcontroller that you saw on Friday. It's in here. There's 2 switches in here that obviously go to that microcontroller, and on the back I have added a RJ11. That is a phone jack. They could be 6-wire. This is a 4-wire phone jack. I figured I could have gone 6, but I didn't have any 6-wire handset cables because I wanted to use, remember these things? I wanted to use this fancy bungee cord style on the back. And the reason for that is I made 2. So there's this one with 2 buttons that feeds to the other one with these wires. I only needed 3 of the wires. I needed 1 ground and 2 signals. So I could have put a 3rd switch in here, but as you might imagine, this is a steel top on oak. This is their oak sides, 1/4-inch plywood top and bottom, steel top. These are foot switches out of guitar pedals. These are made for guitar pedals. So these are made to be stepped on. And so these switches plug into these switches plug into the computer. And the cool thing about that little microcontroller that I showed you, this is the Trinket M0, is this microcontroller can be used like an HID, a human input device, right out of the box. That means keyboard. Yeah. So what I've designed here is a 4-button keyboard, essentially. The reason is, in programming, when you're programming stuff, there's a lot of really repetitive tasks, which is amusing because the whole point of programming is to simplify repetitive tasks, at least in my mind. Like things that you need to do over and over again. Let's write software to do the over and over part, and then the humans input the data or whatever it might be. The thing is, when you're writing software, there's lots of things that you have to input over and over again. For instance, I'll be working in primarily PHP, and depending on the framework that you're using, depending on the coding standard that you're coding to, you might end up typing opening and closing PHP tags 1,000 times, and it's really annoying. They look like this. This is the opening PHP tag, and this is the closing PHP tag. And to type that is really annoying. It's really cumbersome. So if I were to be working in that environment, I could easily program these 4 buttons to type those for me. In fact, each one of these key presses could be command. It could be a whole string of things. Now, granted, I know what you're thinking. There are lots of ways to accomplish what I've done here with foot switches in software. Auto hotkeys is a thing. You can program hotkeys so that, you know, hold down Control-Alt-T and it does whatever. Hold down Control-Alt, hold down whatever to type all kinds of wonderful things for you, and that's great. But the cool thing about this is once you've written the code, and I'm not going to show you that today. When the video comes out, you'll see just how dead simple this thing is to set up. Once you've implemented the code in here, it's in here. And then I take this to a computer, plug it in, and it works. And for me, working on any environment, I'm all about tools that make your job easier and faster. And if auto hotkeys is the thing for you, that's great. But for me, it's just another layer that I have to dig through to get to what I'm trying to do. And what I mean by that is, let's say I'm working on my desktop, and my desktop has the correct screen resolutions, the correct screen tilt, I have the perfect font, I have auto hotkeys installed, and Flux to get rid of blue light, and I have my perfect IDE all set up for my environment. And what happens if that goes away for a day and I have to work on a laptop? It breaks. It breaks your development cycle. It breaks your ability to continue progressing. And so for me, I try really hard not to lean on, I guess, software tools. I try really hard not to put a whole bunch of barriers in front of me and my software. That's just the way that I am. I want to be able to float between wherever I might be working. I might be working at home. I might be working in an office. I might be working, remotely. And to be able to just fire up any computer, look at my code and fix it is important to me. So something like this is doing a very simple function for me that I will have to do over and over and over again while I'm sitting somewhere. And if I do end up relying on it, it's as simple as unplugging a USB, plugging it into another machine, and it's working again. I don't have to figure out, what was the repository I downloaded that thing from? Where, hold on, does that website still have that software that I use to do those hotkeys or that screen dimming? Or I don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to be able to start writing code. And it's not. I act like I'm switching machines every day. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. But I'm the kind of person that when it comes time to switch machines, when my desktop gets replaced, when my laptop gets replaced, when I have to do an upgrade and something breaks, anything between me doing that process of setting up the desktop to getting going is a hurdle I don't feel like jumping over. It gets in the way, and it slows me down way more than the time it takes for me to get going again. It slows me down mentally. So, simple hardware solution, plus it's kind of cool. Look at this thing. Sits on the floor, 2 buttons, kick with your foot while you're typing away, bam, like a rock star. Yeah, that was dumb. Sorry. So, maybe you're not excited about the project. That's fine, I am. I'm stupid excited about it. It turned out great, it works great, and hopefully I will have the video up at some point during this week. It just needs edited. I have to do some voiceover work and stuff. And maybe shoot a couple pickup shots, but it should be out this week. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends. If you have any questions about these, if you have anything that you want to say, like, oh, you should have done this, let me know, and I'll delete you. No, I'm just kidding. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from Wikipedia. Where were chamber pots used? Ugh. In the 19th century, water closets started to be more common than chamber pots, but chamber pots were still used until the mid-20th century. Today they are used in countries that have no indoor plumbing. In North America and the UK, potty refer to the toilets made especially for potty training.